The Sportsman's Guide, we're at 2024 SHOT Show. We are talking about all the great products out there in the outdoor world, all the new things coming to the market for 2024. We're in the Burris booth. Wow, yeah. I've been talking too much today. We're in the Burris booth with Philip, and we're going to talk about something new for this year in the Eliminator series, the Eliminator 6.
Yes, sir, Mark. So everybody knows and loves the Eliminator series of Riflescopes. This is what we've been used to in the past with this Picatinny rail style mounting system. It's been required so that we can kind of fit that range finding element down in the bottom of the scope. But new for 2024 is the Eliminator 6. The Eliminator 6 is new, smoother, sexier, uses a 34mm tube, mounts in standard rings, and is an entirely new industrial design on this guy. So here we've got our buttons, only 3 buttons on the entire unit, up and down for your reticle brightness, and then a range finding button. That range finding button also coincides with a little remote, and just remote activate the rangefinder whenever you need it.
Oh wow.
So what we did is basically the Veracity PH series of Riflescopes that we'll talk about in a separate video. That one used Bluetooth ballistics, so we would actually take the Burris Connect app, the same one that we were talking about with thermal. We'll use the Burris Connect app, create our ballistic profile, Bluetooth it onto this Riflescope, and once it's there, I don't need my phone anymore, don't need to be connected to the app.
Wow.
Everything lives on this scope, and it's much, much easier than previously we had to program our ballistics via the buttons on the side of the scope, choose a drop number, choose a ballistic coefficient, and load it in there. Now it's 100% perfectly accurate ballistics getting Bluetooth from the app. In addition, we've also added a lot more user features, a lot more data that can be presented to the user that can all be toggled on and off with the app. So here, with the Eliminator 5, we had a range, we had a wind call, and we had our drop dot. That was it. Now, we've got our range, we've got our wind call, we've got our drop dot, we've got an artificial horizon or a level. We've got velocity at distance. We've got muzzle or kinetic energy at distance. So whenever you send that rangefind impulse out, it looks at the table and goes, "Oh, here's all the data for that cartridge at that distance."
Wow! Everything
that you need in order to make an ethical shot. Speaking of ethics,
yes.
Probably the biggest trick is since we're providing that velocity and energy data, we also added a shot call indicator. So being a hunter myself, ethics is very, very important to me.
Absolutely.
We don't want to go around and try and take way too long a shot and end up wounding an animal. So we have our shot call indicator that allows a user to set a threshold. So let's say Colorado Parks and Wildlife, where I'm at, recommends 1,500 foot-pounds for an elk. I could set that 1,500 foot-pound threshold in here, and let's say I've got my 6.5 Creedmoor hunting rifle out there. I can do it, but I maybe don't need to go too far with it. So I set that threshold. I range an elk at 650 yards, and it's going to give me a big red X in my head-up display saying, no
shot.
It's going to display my energy as well. It's too slow, it's not enough energy, you need to hunt, you need to get a little bit closer. And then I'll get a little bit closer, get inside of 400 yards. Now all of a sudden I'll range it again, I'll get my drop dot, and there's no red X, means I'm clear to take my shot.
You've got the energy you need.
Exactly. So that's definitely a key component. And one last little feature on here, on the underside, can't really see it just yet, but on the underside of this scope there is a little sensor. That is a barometer and thermometer.
Oh wow.
So when you set in your ballistics, you're going to have all your environmental data from when you originally set your zero and put all your ballistics together. And that thermometer and barometer is going to adjust the density altitude and select a different curve based on a different density altitude. So let's say we're down in the south, or we're down near you guys are at the Great Lakes, so we're going to be at a lower elevation.
Right.
You're going to come out to Colorado, confirm zero at like 5,000 or 6,000 feet. In August, September, it's going to be about 6,000 or 7,000 feet density altitude. It's going to correct for that. Then you're going to go all the way up to your hunting property, and that's going to be at 8, 10, 12,000 feet.
Right.
It's going to change the density altitude again and correct once again as you go up in elevation to make sure that your aiming point is always accurate.
That is incredible technology.
A lot of data is going into this and being presented to the user in a way that is useful and readily available. It's going to be a phenomenal product, and especially at the price of $2,500, that's a lot.
Wow, that is a lot of technology crammed into there, for sure. Be sure to check this out at the Sportsman's Guide.